Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doodling in my doodle sketchbook. Hooray! I'm just going to go ahead and fill out this page. It's going to be a comic page. It's actually taken me a lot of courage to go ahead and not only record, but decide to post something that has even a minuscule amount of my writing on it. Really, there's only like a couple of lines of dialogue here, but for some reason, it still makes me super nervous about posting it. So praise me because I'm doing my best over here. All right, anyway, so this comic panel, I guess I'll just talk about my materials real quick. You might be like, hey, you use the same pen and the same, what's it called? The same watercolor pen every single time. And that's not true, okay? Today, we're actually using a different pen. I know, surprising. It's still a gel pen. I'm not that different, but I don't know where all my black high-tech C's are. I had like a pack of 10 of them, and now I have no idea where they're at. So we're using a different pen today, and it is the Pentel Arts Hybrid Techna in zero point 0.3. If I'm using a pen, it's probably going to be 0.3 or smaller. Anything bigger than that, not really my vibe. But yeah, an artist I follow talked about how much she liked this pen for line arting with Copics. I don't really line art with pen. Not with black anymore anyway. Usually I like to use like a pink or a red or a brown, something softer. So I bought these for basically no reason now. But it's great for doodles in my sketchbook. It lets out a lot of ink at once. And that's really nice because it really makes the watercolor pen really saturated, and I like that sort of look. So, moving on to what I am drawing today. This is just a short comic page about some of my OCs. OCs stands for original characters. Not sure if you guys knew that, but now you do. Anyway, so it's just about these guys. They're in the same story as Duke and all those other guys. The guy at the top with the glasses, his name is Paxton, and he's a nervous kind of guy. Yeah, and then there's Emerson, who I'm drawing right now, who you guys have seen in my prior sketchbook, my car sketchbook tour. We saw Paxton in there too. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and draw what's his name, Valentine also. So just the gist of this comic page is that they have arrived at Paxton's place because Emerson thought that there was going to be a party there. There is in fact going to be a party there. It's just not the kind of party that he thought it was going to be. It's an adventuring party, which basically means that they're playing D&D, and Emerson was caught off guard. I've never been playing D&D in person, but I imagine if you don't have a character ready and you go and you play D&D with somebody, it's probably like, what the hell am I supposed to do here? I'm just supposed to watch other people play D&D, and I'm sure it's fun to watch other people play D&D. I like to watch Dimension 20 and stuff. So it's not fun to watch other people play, but I feel like it's kind of like a different vibe if you're in the room. So he's kind of gonna be like, what the hell am I supposed to do here, bro? Like, how am I supposed to sit here and watch you guys play D&D? It's gonna be like super awkward. And his best friend is Valentine, and he kind of put him in that situation. He wanted him to help him out. Valentine wanted Emerson to help him out by coming to this D&D session with him. But he also likes to mess with Emerson. That's like kind of Emerson's character trait, is that everybody likes to mess with him because he's kind of like a serious, kind of no nonsense kind of guy, and it's just funny to mess with him. So, but his best friend and his worst rival like to mess with him. It's just his lot in life. So he thought it would be funny if he was like, "Hey, come help me out at this party real fast," without telling him what the details of the situation are. And you're like, "Well, that's not cool. How are they best friends if he does stuff like that to him?" Yeah, I didn't say that they were good people. In the context of the story, they're actually like assholes, like bullies type characters. And this is a non-canon interaction. I just thought it would be fun if they went and played D&D together. I don't really draw anything that I would consider canon to the story. For anything that I draw, really. I wouldn't say this is I guess it would be technically an AU. It's like an alternate universe interaction. Like if they became friends with the nerds, like Paxton and the rest of them. Um, I don't think. I mean, maybe at the end of the story when they all like learn to get over their differences and start to become friends, this type of situation could happen. Um, but not in any part of the story that I have planned out currently. This would be like one of those interactions that happens like in between books, if it were going to happen at all. Um, so yeah, I don't really have the ending for this comic planned out. I've already drawn like 4 pages for it, and literally all of it is just set up. Um, yeah, I don't really plan my comic pages out while I'm drawing them. They're not supposed to be like finished comic pages. You'll see with the next panel that I draw, I don't finish the drawing because it's really just supposed to be me thumbnailing my ideas, just getting like the ideas that I have out for like comic pages in my brain, because if I don't get them out, they just sit there and I just think about it all the time. And so it's better if I just draw them out real fast instead of letting them rot away in my brain until I forget them. And you'll see in my old sketchbooks, I don't really draw comics. It actually took me a long time to get okay with drawing comics in my sketchbook. I would write my ideas down in like story form, but I wouldn't draw them. Um, they're not anything super groundbreaking or anything like that, but just allowing myself to draw characters and character interactions in my sketchbook has really been a shakeup for me. It's only been in my last 2 sketchbooks that I've been drawing my own OCs more instead of just like one-off illustrations or one-off doodles. And it's actually made me a lot happier with my sketchbook. I really fill up the pages a lot more, and there's a lot more color. I'm saying that and I'm drawing with black right now, but the rest of my the rest of my sketchbook is full of color because I get to draw the comic pages whatever I want, whatever color that I want. It adds a lot of color and pop in there. I really just got a vibe for it. Starting with my last sketchbook with adding color to my little comic pages. And it's really changed things up for me. I don't know if the rest of you guys are like really story focused or you have a lot of OCs and stuff. But if you do have a lot of OCs and they're just like hanging around in your brain and you don't like draw anything for them, you don't draw like comics of them or anything, I would really suggest it. It's a lot of fun, especially if you like to write stories. And also, it's good practice for paneling and stuff. These panels are not really exciting that I'm drawing. They're really just body shots. But some of the other panel ideas that I had in other pages look actually really nice. There's like full bodies and like some different angles. It's fun. I would practice it in your sketchbook because if you're not gonna practice in your sketchbook, where else are you gonna practice? You know. And you might be like me for a really long time. I was just afraid of doing anything with my OCs because I was like, well, I don't want to draw them if it's not in like, like a finished comic or whatever. Like if I'm not going to be drawing out the webtoon or the web comic that I have planned for them, like I don't want to draw them. And that's dumb. That's a dumb way of thinking, old me. Cause you're never gonna get good at drawing something if you don't practice. Like I don't know about you guys, and maybe you're like prodigies and you're really good at drawing things off the top of your head without only ever drawing them once. I'm not like that. I gotta practice, especially if I want to get more consistent in drawing characters. Like these characters, not consistent in drawing them at all, and I have been drawing them for this whole sketchbook. Obviously it's not all of them on the same pages, but I've been working on this sketchbook since September of 2023, which is about 4 months at this point, 4 or 5 months at this point. And I'm still not super great at drawing them consistently. And so imagine trying to start a webcomic and you only ever draw your characters like one time and just going in, and then you keep drawing them and you're like, oh, okay, so maybe I don't like that for them. And then you change the way that they look, and then by the end of the comic you're like, these are not even the same people, they look completely different, which is okay, I guess. Some people do that sort of thing, but that's not really what I want to do. Um and not every interaction that you have to draw has to be the canon interaction. Like I said, letting myself be loose and just drawing stuff that's not going to happen in a story, that's just for fun. It's really helped me loosen up. And also, it's actually made me write more than I was writing before. For a long time, I was like writing like maybe a couple of sentences once a week. Now I cannot stop writing. Like, I'm not any closer to finishing that short story that I was telling you guys about, the one that I wanted one done once a month. Um, I kind of got stagnant on that one, but I've written like 10 pages on like a bunch of different stories. And so just writing every day helps stimulate your little writer's brain. I don't know if you guys are also writers. I know a lot of artists are also writers. So maybe you know what I'm talking about. But if you do, if you write every day and if you draw every day, it kind of makes you want to do it every day. And so I've just been trying to fall into those habits again. Also, if you do something every day, it helps you get faster at doing that thing. I know this is a long video, which is why I'm trying to figure out things to say. But like I said, this is a long video, so it takes me a long time to draw this page. Without cutting out all of the times that I move in and out of frame. This video was about 46 minutes long. Um, and that is a pretty long time. But that's also because in between each drawing, I'm trying to think about what I want the next drawing to look like and what angle I want it to be at and what I want it to look like. I know I said that I don't plan these out, and I don't, which is why I take so long in between drawings to figure out what I want the next panel to look like. Um, if I was smart, I would plan out these panels. But even if I was smart, which I kind of am, anyway, even if it was about smartness, it isn't because, like I said, this is just me doodling these sketches out. So these act as the thumbnail sketches. They're just a little bit more detailed than thumbnail sketches typically would be. Especially if you're doing a panel, like if you're planning out your comic panels, your initial doodles would not be super detailed like these. They would probably just be like heads floating around and like some speech bubbles, trying to figure out what you want these to look like. I don't even plan to add speech bubbles, which you should do. Well, again, there was should, but it would be better if you planned out the speech bubbles too, so that way you know how much space they're taking up. I always just add the words again at the end, like as an afterthought, which is not a great thing to do. I'm so sorry. I just realized that I've been staring at a big old green space right in the middle of the page, and I have not explained why that's there. That's probably so jarring. The reason why there's like a big old panel of green space right there, is because there was actually a drawing underneath these, these drawings that I'm doing right now. And I just cover them up. Originally it was just like gonna be like a full body drawing, but I didn't like the way the full body came out, so I just smacked some sticky notes over them, so I could draw over it, and just add this comic page in, because I had planned out like a bunch of pages for this comic, and then I was like, oh, I'll just draw on this page. Who cares? I cares. I don't know why I did that, and now it's just a big old green space right there. Um, yeah. So I just do that because if something looks ugly and I don't like it, I just cover it up with sticky notes. And I love my sticky notes. I'm so glad that I was able to buy them and just use them to stick over drawings that I don't like. It's a real game changer for me. I used to cross out drawings that I didn't like, but that just makes my sketchbook uglier. And I don't want my sketchbook to be too ugly or else it's going to bum me out. Um, and the sticky notes are a bit garish to look at, but it's better than looking at a drawing that I don't like. You know that feeling, right? Anyway, yeah. Why are they bright green? You might be asking. They're the only green sticky notes that I could find, and green's my favorite color. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna have to cover something up, I want it to be the color that I like. They're not exactly the shade of green that I like. I like seafoam green, but these are the only green ones I could find. I probably could have gone for like orange or something. Orange is my second favorite color, but I wasn't thinking about it at the time. I was just like, green sticky notes, sure, add them to cart. Oh, I forgot to mention something. There are three people who are playing D&D at the bottom. But I didn't really introduce you to one of them. Two of them you've seen in my car sketchbook tour. The one on the bottom left is Cole, and the one behind the DM screen in the center is Cricket. But the guy on the right side at the bottom is actually Katsuo, and he's the main character of the story. Obviously, he's not the main character of this comic page, but he is the main character of the story. I do have some drawings of him that I plan on posting sometime during this week. So I'll probably talk about him a little bit more there, but just know that that guy is the main character of the story. Hooray! I've It's taken me actually a really long time to introduce him. Um, I don't know why, because he's the main character, but I probably draw him a among the least. I don't know what it is, but I love a side character, and especially in my own drawings, I'm always drawing the side characters. Probably because I'm like, well, they're not gonna get much shine in the story, so they should get some shine, at least in my sketchbook, right? So I draw Katsuo and Duke, who are like the two main characters. I actually draw them like the least out of all of the characters. Well, that's true now. It wasn't exactly true a little while ago. There was actually another set of guys that were in the story. If I ever do a sketchbook tour of this sketchbook, you'll probably see them. I don't think that I will, but if I did, you would see them. Their names were actually Cole and not Cole. Their names were Ace and Hux, and they were also part of the story. But as I was drawing them and planning out the story, I was like, this is too many characters. And they added the least, so I just cut them out. Um, but I didn't like kill them or anything, like retire them as OCs because I can't do that. It hurts my heart. So in fact, I just put them in a different story because I liked their designs and I felt like the dynamic that they had would fit in another story, and actually in Hope's story, which is like that silly world of like anything happens all the time. And so Hux is gonna end up being one of Hope's very many brothers, and Ace also has a place in the story that I can't really talk about it because it would be spoilers. Um, I don't know why I care about spoilers for my story that I haven't written, and I don't even have plans on publishing it anywhere, but it makes sense in my own head, okay? And if you guys ever do get to see the story, you're gonna be glad that I didn't spoil all of it in a YouTube video. Anyway, we're getting to the part of the video that's a little bit shaky. And by a little bit shaky, I mean kind of a lot shaky. This is kind of stuff that you don't notice when you don't record your drawing stuff, is that sometimes you get really aggressive and you start making really sharp lines and you start really just jostling your paper. It's not really something you notice in the moment either. Um, Especially when you're not used to filming yourself. You'd think that I'd be used to it now. It's been a month of posting almost. Hooray! Congratulations to me. And also, thanks to you guys for watching my stuff. It's been a month. It's super exciting. But yeah, it's something you don't notice is how much you just violently like to draw, like really hard and really fast, and just make really sharp, jagged lines. So sorry for the shakiness of the camera for like a little while after this. Is my bad. Alrighty. So since you guys are probably not gonna see me finish out this comic, because like I said, I'm just drawing the one page right now, and I'm not really entirely sure when I'm gonna draw the rest of it. I'll probably just tell you how it ends. I know I said I didn't really have anything planned, but I have like a vague idea of how I want the next few pages to go. So after Valentine tells Emerson to get over it, Emerson's like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Am I supposed to like join in on the game or whatever? And Cole goes ahead and says, hey, I have a character that you can go ahead that I already pre-built that you could play, and it's gonna be like a joke character. And he's gonna be like, I don't want to play this character, but he's gonna go along with it because Valentine's like, hey, I brought you here because you're supposed to help me out, so help me out. Play this stupid joke character. So he plays a joke character, but it turns out that he actually has a lot of fun. Um, and by the end of the night, they're all like, "Wow, that was actually a really fun D&D session, and we're glad that you came, friend." And he's like, "Oh wow, this is actually pretty fun. Maybe I'll come and do this again." That's kind of like the vibe that has. It has to have a happy ending. I don't believe in non-happy endings, even if it's like a joke story. It has to have a happy ending, or it doesn't count. And so if you ever read any stories from me and you're like, oh man, is this gonna work out? Yeah, it is. um, we might lose some people along the way, and we might lose a couple of body parts, but we're gonna all make it out in the end okay, except for the people that died. But you're probably like, oh, that's stupid. Not everything needs to have a happy ending. Happy endings aren't realistic. So that's kind of the whole point of writing fiction, is that you get to pick whatever you want to happen at the end. And I choose happy endings. Okay. I don't like stories that don't have happy endings. And I don't really like to talk too much about things that I don't like because it gets a little too negative. But I'll tell you right now, I don't like unhappy endings. If I go to the end of a story and the ending is unhappy or it's like some ambiguous shit, I'm like, this fucking sucked. What was even the point of the story if everybody is sad and nothing good happened ever? Okay, and everybody's dead, and all that's left is the main character to contemplate all of the people that they lost or whatever. That sucks. I don't like that. Why would you want to read that? That's not. I read to like escape real life and sad shit. Like I don't want to read about a bunch of sad stuff happening and then the story just ends. Like that's that's really lame. And no offense if you like those kind of stories. Everybody is allowed to like what they like. And I just don't do I can't do it. Like there's certain anime that I can't watch, and I'm just gonna name a couple. So sorry if you really like these series, but I really can't get into them. Like Attack on Titan, everybody dies. And I knew that before I was gonna start watching it. I was like, I'm not gonna watch something where everybody dies. That's so sad. And like Jujutsu Kaisen, I got to like episode 10 of Jujutsu Kaisen, and people were like dying all over the place, and I was like, this, I can't do this. And I keep up with the manga a little bit. I just like see updates sometimes, and they're like, oh, yeah, one of the fan favorite characters died. I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't get attached to them because I can tell by just looking at like an anime or whatever. I'm like, oh, I know which character I'm gonna like, and I already attached myself to them before the story, and I'm like, the character that I like died, so I'm really glad I didn't start watching that show. Or like Demon Slayer. Spoilers for Demon Slayer. I know how the manga ends because I watched the first season and I was like, I really don't like this. Everybody's dying all over the place. It's not my cup of tea. So I just went ahead and read what happens at the end because I'm a crazy person. So spoilers for freaking Demon Slayer, but everybody freaking dies. Like almost every character dies. What is that? What am I supposed to do with that? That's not cool. I can't I can't get attached to something like that. I can't do it. And you're like, hey, you wouldn't know that these characters died if you weren't like spoiling yourself. And it's like, I gotta spoil yourself sometimes, okay? Because then I'm gonna get attached to a bunch of characters that die. Like I can't do that. It hurts my feelings. I'm just trying to have a good time, okay? So the stories I write, even if like one person dies or whatever, everybody else is gonna be happy, okay? Not every single character except the MMC is gonna die. That's so freaking dumb. Sorry for the rant, and sorry if you disagree. But I feel very passionate about that. I just don't like it. Like I'm sure there are people who do like that sort of thing. People who like the Game of Thrones is where you're not sure who's gonna live or die, and you're like grimdark stuff. Oh, I thought about getting into grimdark stuff so bad, but because it seems cool, and they're like morally gray characters, and I'm like, yeah, that's chill and everything. But if you have like 50 main characters just so that way you could kill off whoever you want whenever you want, I just can't vibe with that. And I'm really sorry. I've really tried to like stuff like that, but I don't have to like anything. And that's just something that I can't do. I'm sorry if that makes me a big old wussy baby or something. Um, but I just don't like it when a bunch of characters die. It feels like it's for no reason and it's like for a shock value. And it's like, oh, I just introduced that character just for them to die. And it's like, cool, I guess. You're really edgy and like groundbreaking and stuff. But I'm just here to have a good time, to chill. Like, I love a beach episode, okay? Like, I'm here for the good times, not for the sad times, okay? Like, a good cry is good sometimes, but like, I'll cry from a happy ending. I'll cry for literally any reason. It's a really big problem for me. Okay, so you don't have to kill off a bunch of characters to make me cry. Okay, have them be like, oh, the power of friendship saved the day, and I'll start crying from that. Okay, why do you think I like One Piece so much? All right, only a few characters die, and they're always saving the day with the power of friendship. Okay, I need some positive vibes. All right, because One Piece can just go ahead and start playing We Are, and I'll start crying. Like, I'm really easy. So you don't have to kill off a bunch of people just to make your readers cry or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, if you make a bunch of characters that you're like, oh, I hate them, so I'm killing them off. Like, Why would you do that? How do you create a character that like you hate? Like even my villains, and I do have villains. I don't really I haven't really planned them out too well. But I have like vague ideas for villains, like for Hope Story. Like I don't hate them. I created them, right? Even if it's a character you're made to like hate, I can't hate that guy that I made. I made him that way. It would be really fucked up if the only person that is supposed to love and care about him hated him. Like I could be like, "Oh, you're gonna lose and you're gonna have your downfall and you're probably gonna die, but it's not because I hate you. It's because of narrative reasons." How can you hate like a character who's supposed to be like the main character? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like if even if it's to like fit the story, and you're like, oh, but I made them, but I really don't like them. Just make a character that you like that fits your story. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't want to create characters just to make them suffer unnecessarily. Like, there's a necessary suffering to, like, build character development. But I think having all your friends die is some character development that's probably a little bit too far. It just feels, like, gratuitous. You know what I mean? And I'm ranting again, but I have a lot of feelings about this. Anyway, moving on because I could rant about anything for a very long time, but I try not to do that because I feel like it's kind of boring. And it's too negative. I'm not trying to be too negative. I'm trying to be a positive space. All right, a positive space here. So you guys, if you have any anime recommendations where everybody doesn't die and they have like a happy ending, I would love to hear those. The last anime I watched, I believe, was Mashal. And it's supposed to be coming back this month. I'm pretty sure it is coming out. It has already come out because I've seen like a bunch of like Instagram reels of people dancing to the theme song, and I'm like, that is not the theme song from season one. So I'm pretty sure season two is out already. I'm just waiting for the season to finish before I watch it. Because I like to binge. Like, cause after I finished Mashal season one, I just went ahead and read the whole manga because it was already done, and I was like, well, if it's done, then I'm not gonna wait for season two to come out. Um, I've tried to be just like an anime casual where I just watch anime and I don't read manga. But that's not really my vibe. If the manga is like going, I'm gonna watch it. And sorry, I just can't watch for the anime because if there's more content, I want to read what's happening. And Mashal was really good. I don't know if you guys have read or watched Mashal. Um, it's very funny. It's a gag manga, so it's supposed to be like funny stuff going on. Um, and I like it a lot. There was some questions that I felt were kind of left unanswered, and I was a little bit confused by the end. But that's because I have like really poor reading comprehension. So I'm like, I'm sure they explained what was going on. I probably wasn't paying enough attention. Um, but yeah, um, Mashal was one of those stories. It was only like 100 and something chapters. It was really short, and I was like, oh, I wish there was more. Which is probably why it's good that there wasn't any more. A story should really leave you being like, oh, I just want some more. I really want some more, and it left me feeling like that. So it was a really good story. I'm probably gonna go ahead and reread it after I finish watching season two. Um, just because I liked it a lot. Um, and it's like Hogwarts, so it's basically like Harry Potter, but if instead of solving his problems with magic, the main character just beat everybody up. It's really good. It's really funny. Yeah, I should check it out. This has been my anime recommendation corner, and spoilers for Mashal, but nobody dies. Well, that's not true. Well, I don't want to spoil it for you guys. Spoilers for Mashal, the manga, but there's some dying in it. I won't say who, um, or what happens, but it's really good. I would watch it or read it. Nobody dies in the first season. I can say that confidently. And I don't think that it was canceled. I think that the author just decided to make it a short story, which sucks because I feel like a lot of manga that's like subpar gets to be like really long, but all the manga that I really like is like really short. Like one manga that I read that was canceled. Oh, what was it called? Ooh, Beelzebub, the one about the demon baby. Oh, I love that one so much. And then when I got to the end, I was like, how am I gonna finish up this arc? It's going by really fast. Because when I was reading it, it was already done, but it was like 230 something chapters, which is actually pretty long. Um, for a manga, like it was being published for like 5 years or something, which is a long time for like a year manga continuously published. Um, but I guess readership was really going down. So it was canceled, and I was reading it, and was already done, so I didn't know that it was canceled. I was just like, I feel like this arc is going by really, really fast. And I was so upset because spoilers for Beelzebub, even though it's been out for like freaking 20 years. I know not everybody reads every manga that comes out, but it's about like a demon baby. And the final arc has like all of the characters' friends getting like a mark to show their loyalty. And like I said, power of friendship is one of my favorite tropes. So everybody was getting their mark, but it was going by so fast. And I was like, no, it's so cute. I wanted them all to show their loyalty to their friends. Oh no. And it was going by so fast. It was really sad. And I was just like, oh, just give him like just more chapters so we could build out all these friendship moments. Oh, it was such a bummer. Um, I would just go ahead and recommend reading Beelzebub. I wouldn't watch the anime. It's like how to say this without being mean to all the artists who spent a lot of time and dedication working on it. Um, it's just incomparable to the manga. I hate to sound like one of those people, but the manga is better than the anime. Um, there's a reason why people say that, and it's probably just because it's like the mangaka's true vision for the story. So I'm always gonna recommend the manga over the anime. Um, and so yeah, and also I don't think the anime ever finished the story. Um, Obviously there's some problematic parts. I can't remember what it is right now because it's been a while since I've reread it. I have reread the story like 3 times already. But I'm having trouble remembering parts of it now. But I'm sure that there are problematic parts because it's anime slash manga. Um, and one of the characters like there's like a running joke is that he likes young girls. He doesn't like young girls, but the other characters make fun of him for liking girls who are like young. Like one of the characters has a crush on him, and she's like 10 or something, and they're like 15 or 16, and they're like, ew, it's gross that you're in a relationship with this 10-year old, and he obviously isn't, but like that's the joke is that he's like a pervert, and like that's a gross joke. So obviously there are parts that are ill. It's unfortunately there are always going to be parts that are ill about manga and anime, but other than that, it's a pretty good story. I would recommend it. And there's like unfortunately there's like fan service and stuff, but you'd be hard pressed to find like a shonen anime that isn't full of like fan service and shit like that. It's unfortunate, but it's like when you're um a manga fan or an anime fan, you just gotta have to get over stuff like that. I'm gonna complain about it because I think that it's gross. But I'm still gonna watch, unfortunately, just because the stories are good. And there are some anime and manga that aren't like that. Like Matchel doesn't really have any fan service like that. But it also doesn't really have any female characters. There's like one female character. Thankfully, she doesn't have like any like fan service that I can remember. But she's really just there to be a joke, to have like a crush on the main character. It's like, all right, I knew as soon as she was introduced that she was gonna have a crush on the main character. It's like she's like the only girl in the story. So the only girl in the story that has any like bearing on the story anyway. And then there's also Welcome to Demon School Arumakun. I love Welcome to Demon School Arumakun. Um, there is some fan service in there, but that's just because some of the characters are like succubi, and she's like pretty much one of the only characters that gets like that. But it's she's into it though. It's not like what's it called? Non-consensual fan service, and also Haruma gets a lot of fan service, but um, he's the MC, so the MC is getting a lot of fan service. It's nothing like super sexual or anything, though. Thankfully, like I said, I really like Welcome to Demon School Haruma-kun. It's very cute. It's part gag manga, part battle shonen type thing, which is like my favorite combination because I like to laugh and I like to watch cool fights. One of my other favorite manga is Hitman Reborn, which is another one about a baby. You're like, you just like manga about babies. I don't not like manga about babies. I also like School Babysitters, which is just about a guy babysitting for a bunch of babies. Um, so I guess I do like manga about babies. And Reborn is about a baby, but he's not. He's actually a baby physically. But there's a whole bunch of shenanigans going on in that story. It started off as a gag manga, and then it transformed into a battle shonen, which is, like I said, one of my favorite combinations for manga. So, the first 80 chapters or so is all just like gag manga and introduction and stuff. And some people are like, "Oh, just skip the first 80 chapters." And don't do that. There's a lot of characters introduced and like story stuff that's introduced in those first 80 chapters. And if you just go in, um, when that battle shonen starts, it's kind of like you're not gonna know what's going on. When I do rereads, I do skip that first 80 chapters, just because I already know what happens and I already know all the characters, so I don't need to reread that part. Um, and it's a slow start. So maybe you would rather start with the anime. Um, I didn't watch the anime, which is a bad habit of mine. I pretty much just go straight to the manga. Because I prefer to read than to watch. Because if I read it, then I can read the whole thing. If I watch, it takes me like, like weeks to watch the whole thing. Um, so I guess if you just wanted to skip over all of that stuff, like get the quick and dirty intro stuff out of the way, you could just go ahead and watch the anime. Um, like I said, I never really recommend anime over the manga, because even though it's 80 chapters, it's mostly pictures. Like you can go through it pretty fast if you're a fast reader. Not everybody's a fast reader though, so apologize to you guys for telling you to read, even though you probably don't like reading. I don't know. Maybe you do like reading. Manga is a lot better. It's easier to read for some people than in, just straight words on the page. Like I said, it's mostly just jokes, so it goes by pretty fast. Um, oh gosh, we're at the end of the video. All right, bye bye. Sorry for ranting so long.